Hello, hello,
Hello, hello,
hello.
hello. How are you doing?
I am good. I was able to sneak my hello, hello, hello in before you.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of in sync, but if you want to claim that yours was first, I
Eh,
suppose I'll allow that. I
I think it was
suppose.
first. We can see what chat says.
Audio and
Happy
video check.
Friday.
Thank you.
Yes,
That was very helpful. Very helpful.
very, very helpful.
Lots of highs. Mary was
Oh,
first. Get out of here, 404. You're.
thank
I don't
you.
know if I could stand with this. It's
Mm-hmm.
been forever since I've seen
I
you all.
certainly
Were
can.
you on stream for our last Global Hack Week? I know I was out of the
I,
office.
I was, but you weren't. So
I know.
it
Yeah.
hasn't been both of us in quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
It is very exciting to be here, especially for season launch, like one of my favorite global hack weeks of the year, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
so, very excited to get into everything we have today. I've been dying to share the new mascot with people, like
Mm-hmm.
all of our coaches, like there are members of the full time team who don't know yet. I really want to get it out of my system and let it be public information. So I'm very excited
Yes.
for that coming up a little bit later on, too.
It felt like very exciting. Right before I turned the stream live, I was testing our slides and I had the mascot slide up, but we weren't
Mm-hmm.
live quite yet, and it was like a rush seeing it on there, even though I knew no one could see quite yet. It still felt
Peter the
very exciting.
Pizza. Wait till we get to P. We're not up to
Mm.
P yet. It's a an I mascot this year. We go through the alphabet for those who don't know.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
with that, you want to jump into it, Mare?
Let's do it. We've got a lot to do today, so we might as well introduce ourselves first. Ryan, who are you?
I am Ryan. I'm our director of events here at Major League Hacking. So I get to work with an awesome team of people who put on all of our events for hackers. That could be any of our member event hackathons that our team works on. You're actually going to see our first batch of member event hackathons a little bit later today, or first batch of member event hackathons for 2025, which I'm excited for. I also help work on all of our first party events, things like Global Hack Week, DevRelCon, all of our first party hackathons as well, which Mary and her team work on as well. And then my fun fact of the day, of course, I'm excited about our season mascot. I spoiled this on the last page because I was so excited about it. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I would love to. I'm Mary. I work as our first party events manager. So my job is to work on things like Global Hack Week, as well as the conferences that we run throughout the year. My fun fact, I guess I went a different route with the fun fact. I just really put in my guess for the season mascot. And I think that it's going to be Isaac the iguana. Anyone else who has a guess, feel free to put it in chat. I'm not going to be able to tell you if it's right or wrong for another like 30 minutes or so, but Isaac the iguana is what I'm going with.
It'd be a great fake out if Isaac the iguana was actually our mascot. Like you just said it
Mm-hmm.
in the first slide, and we just didn't say
Mm-hmm.
anything about it until later
Like
on.
that's the announcement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it
So
is.
a lot of people were saying ibex, which I think would be a cool one personally. But
Hmm.
yeah,
I
we'll
like
have to see.
ibex. Ibis would be nice too. The bird. Lots of good eye animals.
That is not how we felt when we were brainstorming this year. We really struggled for
Yeah,
that.
they
We
really
we
aren't
were
a lot.
we were. I think everyone was really worried about like Q and X and like some of Z. Like I
Yeah.
guess Z has zebra, but like I was
Mm.
like a surprise struggle. I think is the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to Global Hack Week season. We're so excited to have you with us. You can view our full live website at ghw.mlh.io/live. I'm sure somebody helpful will put that in the chat. In fact, it's already there. Thank you very much. Oh,
Mhm.
wrong message. There you go. Oh, we're fighting. There we
Yeah.
go. Tons of information on the website. Mary and I are also going to go over everything you need to know for the event today. There is a lot going on at Global Hack Week. It's a week-long event. And so if you get confused or anything like that throughout the presentation here, feel free to ask questions in chat. One of our other awesome hackers likely has an answer for you. And if not, Mary and I do a full Q&A at the very end of the presentation today as well. With that all said, Global Hack Week is hosted by Major League Hacking, and I'm sure that some of you are at your first ever Major League Hacking events. I know I saw that in the chat already. If you're wondering what is MLH, don't worry, I've got your back. We run what we call the Global Hacker Community. Each year, we are working to empower hackers all over the world at events all over North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and then all of our digital events as well. And just recently, we actually crossed over having 1 million community members in our system, which is super, super exciting. We are very, very proud of this and excited to see it continue to grow. By being at one of our events, you also are earning points for your school in our season-wide rankings. And with that, if this is your first Global Hack Week, we're so excited to have you. Do you want to tell everyone at home a little bit more about what Global Hack Week is?
I would love to. And I know we have a ton of people joining for their very first one. So huge, huge, huge special shout out for y'all. 404 Found. I know this is not your first MLH event. Get that.
Anyone who's new is going to be like, wow, they really like this 404.found person. They're in the chat all the time. We do highlight 404 quite a bit here. But...
Alrighty. Well, what is Global Hack Week? Global Hack Week is an event we run each month. We pick a theme and we spend the week building projects around that theme. These events are really meant to be an opportunity for you to dive into some of the things that you want to focus on. They're really open-ended and flexible. I think what I really love about Global Hack Week is they can fit into your schedule, whether you're working full-time or going to school. This is really meant to fit into your schedule to give you an opportunity to work on some of those things. I know it can be hard to fit in, going to full weekend-long hackathons sometimes, and Global Hack Week is meant to help fill in some of the gaps there. This week is really for you to level up as a hacker. So we always get questions around, what event should I go to? Which challenges should I do? Really think about like what you want to level up in. This event is meant to serve you. So do a little reflection on maybe what are those things you want to learn this week, and let that help you as you're picking out what your schedule is going to look like. Season launch week is perhaps my favorite Global Hack Week of the year. I know we maybe pull that line too often here, but this probably is actually my favorite one. We started season launch week 4 years ago with we called it a knit at the time, but I think it's still fair to say we've been running this for 4 years now. And we were thinking about, like how can we mark the start of the hackathon season? We run all of these awesome events all over the world. We want to do something like online and we want it to be fun. And so we came up with this idea to run a Global Hack Week where we kick off this season, we get some awesome announcements out to you all and just, start it with some excitement. So that's what season launch is all about. It is really the perfect time to join if you're new to the community because you're coming in at a really exciting time and getting to see all of the things you're going to do over the next 12 months. We'll get into all of that later, but I really, really love this Global Hack Week in particular. Like I said, we're starting the start of the 2025 hackathon season this week. So you're going to stick around at the end of this for a Q&A with our CEO and co-founder Swift, as well as the reveal of our new season mascot. That's going to be right when Ryan and I finish the slides here. So probably in about 20-25 minutes or so is when Swift is going to be joining us. You don't need to go anywhere since I know lots of you are here for that mascot reveal and Q&A. Highly recommend taking advantage of this Q&A. Make sure you get all of your career questions and hackathon questions and anything that you would like to ask Swift ready for that.
Someone is asking what the mascot is. Do we want to just very quickly explain what the season mascot is? Okay. So the season mascot is each year for each of our seasons, Major League Hacking makes a bunch of stickers and swag based on our season mascot. We do t-shirts, stickers, postcards, all sorts of cool stuff. And you'll actually get some of those swag items from participating in this Global Hack Week. But our mascot is just our little animal or creature or whatever that represents the season. And they usually have a technology associated with them. So we've had Frankie the file system ferret. We've had Ellie the electric elephant. Who else have we had? Hanson the hardware hippo was actually a favorite of mine.
I can
lots
pull
of cool
up
ones.
the last ones.
And Hanson the hardware hit. Oh, perfect. That's convenient. Excellent work, Mary. There are all of the recent mascots there, so you can see them all. That was a perfect transition. Thank you. Yes. Is that literally the next slide?
No, it's not. Don't hit next slide. You're going to show our actual mascot.
I'm going to have my hands fully on screen
Hands
here.
off the keyboard right now.
So lots of cool mascots, but that is what a mascot is. I interrupted you there, though, Mary. What's up with Swift's Q&A here?
You are all good. This is just another reminder of that event we have, but you don't need to go anywhere. We're going to do it right here during this live stream, but very, very excited for that. We have some really awesome partners who are here with us this week. So I'm excited to tell you all about some of the folks who make it possible for us to run Global Hack Week completely free of charge. The first one that I want to tell you about is DFANG Labs. They have some really cool challenges for you this week, as well as a workshop at 2 p.m. today. So you're going to want to make sure you join that workshop. What's really cool about DFANG Labs is they let you run things locally on your computer. The challenge that I'm most excited about is they have a basically one-step way to deploy Next.js through your command line. So if you are going to hackathons this season, using a tool like this is just going to make it that much easier to get your projects actually up and running and deployed. So really, really hyped to have us here, and make sure you join them for that workshop at 2 p.m. today. Alrighty, who do we have up next here?
We have GitHub up next here. Always excited to see GitHub and the GitHub education team back at a Global Hack Week. They are one of our big supporters, even back from when it was called Local Hack Day. So very excited to see them here for season launch. They're going to have challenges throughout the week. They have a GitHub Student Developer Pack that you can and should claim, because it comes with free hosting credits, free domains, free access to professional software. And they also have a workshop at 3 p.m. today on GitHub Copilot. So tons of cool stuff from GitHub to check out. And I do want to mention as well, for all of these partners, I might be getting ahead of myself here, but for all of these partners, we actually are going to be featuring them throughout the rest of our season. They're going to be available for you as a hacker at our member event hackathons and other MLH events. So anybody you check out today, you're going to get first access to see them later on this year when you go out to hackathons in person or join us for your digital events. So very thankful for their support at those other events that we do as well. That's it for GitHub. Who do we have up next, Bear?
All righty, next up we have HashiCorp. So they have some challenges that they've created for y'all this week. If you aren't familiar with their platform, they help you automate applications. So if you have, let's say you're using a bunch of different cloud tools, you want them to work together, HashiCorp has a ton of functionality for you to automate a lot of that infrastructure. I'm particularly excited. Their sort of main challenge for this week works with Docker. And so you don't need to spend any money. It's a free platform, HashiCorp is, and then you get to integrate Docker into it. Again, this is one that I think is going to be really powerful at hackathons this year, because using something like this is going to let you really level up your hack and make it even more professional with just a couple of clicks. So really, really stoked to have them here with us this week. And they're a partner that you're going to be seeing at a bunch of MLH hackathons throughout the rest of the season. So wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak preview during Global Hack Week. Alrighty, who do we have next?
Up next, we have Adobe, who's going to be returning in the fall to join us at some member events and things like that. This week at season launch, you're going to be able to join them for a bunch of different challenges that they have. And they also have a workshop that is going to take place on day 3 at 1 p.m. right after our Today in Global Hack Week stream. So if you're joining these streams regularly, you're going to be able to roll right into that Adobe workshop and learn a little bit about their platform and what all they're doing. So very excited to see them here. Also, to get ahead of it, because I've already seen it in chat, we do record all of our streams, so you'll be able to watch them back. And if there's stuff that is not in your time zone, that is A-okay. We don't expect you to attend everything. You should come to as much as you can, but those recordings will be there if you can't join something because it's the middle of the night for you. We have programming around the clock. So quick Q&A answer there for folks, so we eliminate some of those questions. What is Sauce Labs up to this week?
Yeah, so we have Sauce Labs with us this week. If you have not used their platform quite yet, they are a testing tool. So they make it easy for you to run a bunch of tests on your projects. Again, I know I've said this with the other partners, but this is one of those things that adds such a level of professionalism to any project that you're working on. It's going to make debugging your project so much easier and much, much, much less time consuming if you're able to write some of these tests for it. So they've got some cool challenges that are going to help you get started with using their product. But I also want to shout out they're running a raffle that all you need to do to enter it is come up with a name for their hot sauce. So no code required to enter their raffle and do their main challenge this week. They seem to like a silly, goofy thing just as much as we do over here. So that is certainly something I can get behind. Excited to see what hot sauce names y'all come up with.
I'm curiously looking. Rosendo, who you'll see about a little bit later on in the presentation, helps us out with lots of our customer stuff. came up with a bunch of great like punny names for they had a little blog post that went out. And I'm very excited to see what the hacker community comes up with for the hot sauce names, because I've seen how creative folks are with their domain names and things like that. I feel like this is right up the community's alley. So I'm very excited about this one. And I've seen people in chat enjoying it as well.
I know y'all are going to come up with some very good ones. So excited to see those. Rosendo the ad guy.
Rosendo the ad guy, yes. Does much more than just ads, but we love
much
them.
more than just ads, yes. Alrighty, well, I want to make sure y'all know how to get checked in for the week. Checking in is how we know that you're here attending, and then that is how we know to send you swag. So this is quite important. You can join the main event at hackp.ac/GHW. If you registered before the last hour or so, you're going to need to go back to this page to actually check in. So make sure you go and do that. There'll be a little green button waiting for you. And if you haven't registered yet, you can go do registration and check in all at the same time right now. You're going to also check into each live stream that you attend throughout the week. Again, this is how we keep track of what all you're going to. We use this to send you a recap of what you did throughout the week. I think it's cool for bragging rights to know what all you were attending. So make sure you're going and checking into these. This also helps you with your bonus swag, which we send to the folks who have gone to 5 or more live streams throughout the week. Ryan, you want to tell us about Discord?
Absolutely. So in addition to checking in on that main event page that Mary just mentioned, another thing you're going to need to do to earn swag this week is register for the MLH Discord. That's going to be the space where you actually connect with other hackers at the event. So heavily recommend joining this, being an active participant there. We give out free stuff in the Discord pretty frequently. And I know some folks were asking about like links and access to things. You're going to get announcements and all of that good stuff in Discord as well. So it's a great resource for Global Hack Week. In particular, once you join our server, there's a couple of things that you're going to want to do. In your upper left hand, you're going to have a channels and roles section. I would head there to get started because that's going to give you access to different sections. There's lots going on in the MLH community Discord, and so you need to kind of opt into certain channels to see them. So if you don't see any of the Global Hack Week channels, just head up here to the upper left, and you'll have some questions you can answer that get you access to that Global Hack Week section. One other thing I really want to call out from our Discord is our support tickets functionality. So this should be visible to everyone right when you join the server. But if you ever needed to get in touch with me, Mary, Siddharth, Rosendo, anyone on the MLH full-time team for a question, you can use our support tickets. We encourage you to use public channels first if possible. But if you ever needed to share your email address or maybe had something that was a little bit more personal, you can use our support tickets feature to reach out. The reason we encourage you to use those public channels is it takes us quite a bit of time to get through our support tickets because there are thousands of people participating in the event this week. So often the best place to get help is from your fellow hackers. If you go in that support tickets channel, though, you'll be able to open up a thread with us that's private, and we can help you out as we get through those tickets. Cool.
Awesome,
With that, I think we're going to jump into swag here. I won't make the joke. I'll hold it in this time. I won't make my normal joke, but I did already see people asking about it. So if you want to check out the swag that you're going to be earning this week, you can actually see that on the MLH website, or the Global Hack Week website, I should say. There's actually a swag section. You can get some photos of some example swag we've done for previous events. It's going to be all new this time because it is for our new season. So you're going to get the new season mascot and things like that and all of your stickers. But you can earn this swag by registering and checking in to the event, which Mary already covered. You do need to submit an address for us as well, so we know where to send your swag. And then finally, you do need to complete our 3 partner challenges. So you'll register for the Student Developer Pack, you'll enter a Sauce Labs hot sauce name, and then you will deploy a Next.js app with a defang with one-click deployment. So it's very easy to do is the goal there. I know we always get this question, so I'm just going to answer it now. If you've already claimed the GitHub Student Developer Pack or you're not eligible for it because you're no longer a student, that is a-okay. We have a type form where we'll just say like, hey, I'm not a student, so I can't claim this, and we'll still give you credit for it so you can earn that swag as well. The swag should arrive in 2 to 3 months as well for the people who are already asking that question. You can also earn some bonus swag, and particularly because it's a season launch event, we have some cool stickers for you to earn here. You'll earn this by checking into at least 5 of our live events over the course of the week. You do that by checking in on those Organizer HQ pages like Mary showed you earlier with that green box. And finally here on the swag front, throughout the week, we like to do this little thing called a surprise prize. These are a little bit more substantial shipments that MLH will send to you via a provider like FedEx or UPS or someone like that. These will often have old t-shirts, maybe a fanny pack, some random swag we have left over in our fulfillment center from prior seasons, some retro items, if you will. We give these out to hackers who are just being cool, being helpful, kind of living that hacker spirit. So if you want to earn yourself a surprise prize, just be a helpful hacker in chat, be nice, be polite to other people here, and me, Mary, or somebody else on the full-time team might give you a little reward for it. Yes. If you do earn one of those surprise, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, I'm sure we'll be giving out some.
We are going to give out one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to give out one now. We certainly do.
I was thinking we should have Swift gifts about. Yeah.
Well, you can give out more than one. If an MLHer gives you a surprise prize, all you have to do is open up a Discord ticket and post in a little screenshot, and then we'll reach out to you for your information, like your email and shipping addresses and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and give one out. Yeah. I don't want to break with tradition. Swift can give out another one.
Yes. Okay.
Who's closing their eyes here? Am I? Or what's
I think you have to, because you wanted this.
I did want this. This is true. So we're going to ask you to put in chat. What are we going to have them spam in chat? Like, what's the qualifying?
I think their season mascot guess.
That feels right. That feels fine.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to put something it has to start with an I. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. And I think it can either be a name, a technology, or an animal, right? The three different components. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a full mascot name. Does that feel fair?
Yeah. I think that's fair. But yeah, if you pick one that is not an I, we're going to pick a different one.
Part of me thinks that I should tell them to do J so that we can just go back and pull next year's mascot from their answers.
Yeah,
but we'll do I. Yeah. I've already said I, so. All right, I'm going to close my eyes. You tell me when to click.
Okay. I'm going to let a couple more come in. Okay. We're going to 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I see it. Hang on. I see them.
Is it right here.
Oh! Patel Dev. Congratulations. It is an I.
Congrats.
So you're going to take a screenshot right now, and then you're going to open up a support ticket in Discord. We'll ask you for some information, and you'll earn yourself a surprise prize. Congratulations on the first one of the new season. It's very exciting.
Amazing. I will leave that up for a second in case you haven't gotten your screenshot quite yet, as we roll into talking about challenges. So we have a bunch of challenges up on our website right now, and these are meant to be an opportunity for you to come up with things to work on throughout the week. They range from really short coding prompts to bigger design challenges to like full-fledged projects, and you can do them at your own pace and pick out which ones you're interested in. They're all submitted either on DevPost or on our Typeform. General rule of thumb there is if you're building a project for it or running some code, it's going to be submitted over on DevPost. If you're doing something like signing up for the GitHub Student Developer Pack or submitting to the Sauce Labs raffle, things that don't require code, that's more likely going to be submitted over on Typeform. If you aren't sure on any of them, though, feel free to ask in Discord or check on the challenges page. They're all linked to the proper place to submit them. You do not need to do all of them. Again, they are just meant to help with I know sometimes when I'm like learning something new, the hardest part can be coming up with like, what am I actually going to do to learn the thing? And these are meant to take that kind of decision paralysis away from you and just give you some ideas. So do the ones that look interesting to you. Don't worry about doing all of them. Do as many as you would like. They are going to close next Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So you've got a little less than a week to complete as many of them as you are able to and as many as you would like.
Focus on your exam.
That is wild. This is recorded. Yeah. Go do your tests, please. Hopefully you aren't hearing this anymore. Y'all are wild. Another reminder here that you do not need to complete every challenge, although you do need to complete your exams that are going on during this stream.
So you must complete every exam you have.
Yes, that is a rule of Global Hack Week. Do not miss out on exams for this. We're going to send you an email each day with an update on how many challenges you've completed. So keep an eye on your inbox for that. We use the DevPost, the Typeform, and those check-ins to be able to give you your score for bragging rights. You can review all of those challenges on our website right now, ghw.mlh.io. /challenges. I'm guessing someone already put this in chat. Oh, I might be beating
You might be
right
beating
now.
4. Oh, nah, he just got it.
Oh, no. Okay. There we go.
Almost. It was close.
almost. Ryan, do you want to tell us what's going on Twitch?
Yeah, of course. Also, I do want to just answer 2 quick questions because we're gonna have a Q&A with Swift first before our other Q&A. You should also register for DevPost. Make sure you use the same email address. It's always our big piece of advice. We use that as kind of an identifier for you. And then where can I check the challenges? If you go to ghw.mlh.io or globalhackweek.com, you can actually see all of our challenges listed there as well. So when you're not working on challenges, we do recommend joining all of our live streams. These are going to be code along with me sessions where an MLHer or one of our partners is going to come on stream and build something. They typically will try to tackle a challenge we have during the event. So you can actually get points for attending that live stream, and you also get points for completing the challenge if you do it along with them. And you can view our full schedule of live streams at ghw.mlh.io and then click on the schedule button. And that's going to have our schedule for each day there in your local time zone. We also have a Google Calendar, which I think we'll get to a little bit later on here today. First up, though, we have our Q&A with Swift. I just posted this in chat, but I'll say it one more time. Make sure you start thinking about your questions now for our CEO and co-founder, Swift. He's going to be on here with Mary to do a Q&A in a little bit. He'll also announce our season mascot, and we will launch our season of events. What do we have up after that?
Yeah, after that, we have Defang Labs, who's going to be hopping on the stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 p.m. IST, and they're going to be showing how you can create, deploy, and manage cloud applications using Defang. This is the tool we were talking about earlier that makes it really, really easy to deploy, a one-click deployment for Next.js, which is kind of mind-boggling. So very, very excited to see y'all jump into using their tools, and make sure you tune in for their workshop. Alrighty, what is Cecilia up to after that?
Cecilia is going to be running through our Building Better Hacks Faster with GitHub Copilot workshop. This is a workshop that we made in collaboration with GitHub Education and the team at GitHub that we work with. So you can join Cecilia at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today or 12:30 a.m. IST to actually see how GitHub Copilot, actually you'll set it up fully inside of VS Code, which is really awesome. And you'll actually be able to use it to edit some Python code, if I remember correctly. I think it's a Flask app that you work on. But very cool workshop, and I was personally really impressed with this when I ran it the other day, or I guess it was weeks ago at this point, but nonetheless very impressed with the functionality. Who's up after that?
Alrighty, after that, we have Alberto hopping on the stream. Alberto is going to be doing a MATLAB 101 stream. So getting you set up with MATLAB, exploring some of the things you can do on the platform. Really, really awesome stuff. I know Alberto has a ton of fans in the Global Hack Week community. So make sure you join him for his first technical stream of the week at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. What is David up to?
They're going to be doing NLP or natural language processing for beginners. I think this is a really, really cool workshop. And I love seeing like specific workshops like this open for beginners as well. I think things like machine learning or AI or natural language processing can be really intimidating as a first-time hacker. But actually, because of all the awesome developer tools out there, they can be really easy to get started with, and you can make some really cool hacks as a result, even if you're brand new to coding. And so I'm excited to see what David cooks up here and shares with the community.
Absolutely. And then after that, we have Vinayak on the stream. He is going to be running our Scribble.io mini event. This is meant to give you a break from hacking. It's one of my favorite events that we run. It's kind of a combination of Pictionary and what's the other game? Oh, Telephone. It's super, super fun. If you haven't done it yet, we run these over in Discord. These are also, in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to get to know other people in the community, because you can like turn on your video and your microphone and everything and actually see some of the other hackers here. So make sure you go and tune into that. What is Ritvi up to after that one?
Ritvi is doing an Intro to IoT Part 1. I know that Ritvi has actually done this event before. I think it's one of our favorite streams from the community. So this is going to be a track. That's why it has a Part 1 here. She's actually going to do multiple streams on IoT over the course of the week. So you can join her to get kind of an introduction to IoT and build something with it. Very, very cool.
Yes. I love those streams that Ritvi does. And for those of you who don't know, Ritvi does a lot of really cool hardware stuff. And so oftentimes she does these streams from her workspace where she's got all of her components, and it's very, very cool setup. Alrighty, after that, we have Newful on the stream. He's going to be doing a beginner-friendly intro to Python stream. So if you are new to the community, new to programming, aren't sure where to start, this is going to be one of the best workshops for you to join this week. Getting started with Python, you can use this tool in tons of different contexts and take this out to all of the hackathons that you might go to this season. So make sure you go and join him at 8 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow or 5:30 p.m. IST. And then what is going to wrap up the day?
So we're going to wrap up with our Today in Global Hack Week stream. We run one of these each day. You'll have two MLHers who come on, talk about the upcoming schedule, recap a little bit about what happened the prior day, and answer questions and things like that, just like me and Mary are doing right now. I find them to be a great space to hang out with the Global Hack Week community, goof around, have some fun, and see what all is going on.
Awesome. I don't know if y'all can hear the dog barking in the background. Apologies if you can.
If we could just spam some woofs in chat for Mary, that'd be perfect. We could just get a little woof in chat. I would appreciate it. In addition to the calendar we have on the website, you can also view Global Hack Week's calendar live in your Google Calendar. So if you go to hackp.ac/GHW calendar, you're going to be able to add this directly to your calendar. This is the best way to kind of keep up with the event, in my opinion. I think it's a great resource. You'll have the links right in line there. You can see it in your own local time zone. And so definitely recommend leveraging this if you are looking to keep up with all those different live streams we have, particularly for all my friends who are not in Eastern Time or IST, which are probably our two most common. And with that, I do want to give everyone a reminder about the MLH Code of Conduct. By being at one of our events, you did agree to our Code of Conduct. The TLDR is that you should be respectful. Harassment and abuse are never tolerated at our events. We want every MLH hackathon to be a safe, welcoming space for everybody who wants to participate in it. So if you're ever feeling unsafe or anything like that, feel free to reach out to our incidents team. You can either call us or email us if you're feeling like you're being harassed or bothered at the event. We're happy to work with you and see what we can do to address that. Particularly at digital events, I always like to give a reminder as well. It's never appropriate to comment on people's appearance on stream. Even if you mean it to be positive, it can make lots of streamers uncomfortable. So just avoid comments about people's appearance while they are on video on stream. It goes a long way to make our presenters feel more comfortable when they're chatting with you all as well. If you have any problems, reach out to the team. We're happy to help out. And with that, we will move into our last couple of sections here. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our partners. Again, we've got Defang Labs, Adobe, GitHub, HashiCorp, and Sauce Labs, who are all helping us out, not only at this Global Hack Week, but across the rest of our member events this season. So very excited about all the things they're doing. And with that, I think we're going to transition into our Q&A with Swift, right?
We have what the folks have been waiting for here, and I see we have Swift in the background. Swift, are you ready to join us? All righty, we will bring him on. Hello. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Happy season launch.
Happy season launch. It's a very exciting day. So do you want to introduce yourself for the folks who might not know who you are yet?
I would love to. Hey, everybody. I'm Swift. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Major League Hacking, aspiring lawyer turned hacker. I've been serving this community for, more than a decade now at this point, which is pretty cool to think about. Something that changed my life, and I wanted to help change other people's lives too. And I'm here today to answer some questions from you in the community about MLH, about where we're going, about all the cool stuff we're doing this coming season. And I hear we might even have some special announcements or things to reveal maybe at the end of our Q&A as well.
We certainly do there. Well, we're really excited to have you, and I know folks have been thinking of some of the questions that they're looking forward to asking you here today. We do have your announcement queued up. Do you want to do it before or after your Q&A?
I feel like we should save it for the end. I feel like we
save it for the end.
Yes,
that is a-okay. Let's jump into our founder Q&A then. I'm going to get us to our proper slide here. Here we go. I know folks were already queuing up some of the things that they wanted to ask Swift, but now is the time for any questions you have. Like we said earlier, the sky is kind of the limit here. You can ask questions about what MLH is, looking to do in the future, how Swift ended up, starting MLH, anything that you would like to know. And I do want to just give the quick disclaimer. We're going to skip over any logistical questions about the event because we'll have time to answer those afterwards. So we're not ignoring you, but we aren't going to do questions around like how you get swag at Global Hack Week and things like that. I quite like this question though. So let's start with this. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into programming?
Yes, this is actually a great story. So like probably many of you, I started out my journey not actually thinking that I wanted to get into tech or be a programmer or do any of those things. When I was growing up, I actually wanted to be a lawyer. And, when I went off to university, I had to work while I was in school to help, give myself some money to do things with and live my life. And I, did the thing that any enterprising young college student would do. And I, went on the school's job board and sorted the jobs by how much they paid because I felt like that was a good filter, and applied for all of them. And of course, nobody wrote me back because I had no experience doing any of the things that I'd applied for, except for one company. And they wrote me back, inviting me to come in and interview to be a programmer at their film studio. And I thought it must have been a mistake because I literally had never programmed in my life before. I thought that, surely I was interested in technology, but like I was not qualified to do this. But thanks to some encouragement by my friends and family, I went in and, I was honest. I said that I love technology. I would, computers. I was excited to, learn to code, but I would really be starting from scratch. And they decided to take a chance on me. And I remember I bought myself a Sam's Teach Yourself PHP in 21 Days book. And I showed up my first day on the job with that book. And I figured that I would either read it and have a job in 3 weeks, or I would, read it and not have a job, but I would at least know how to code at the end of it. And I literally sat there and read that book and learned how to program on the job, which was, I learned a ton. And in fact, I probably made a ton of mistakes. And in retrospect, hiring somebody who'd never programmed before to, write your accounting software in PHP is just not a good idea in general. But that's how I learned to code. And, one thing led to another. We could talk about how I got into hackathons and all the other stuff. But really, my coding journey was just because I got lucky and someone was interested in this stuff, and somebody took a chance on me, and I was able to, teach myself how to use PHP to do some interesting stuff.
I love that story. I've heard that one before, but tends to be one of my favorites. I think that is a perfect transition into how did you actually go from starting your coding journey into hackathons and then into MLH?
Yeah. So basically, I had this job, right, and I'm writing PHP, and it's like what I was doing every day in between my classes. And I never really told anybody about it because, like I said up front, I wanted to be a lawyer, and none of my friends were programmers. I'd never heard of startups before. Like, it just wasn't something that was like on my radar. And, a few years into that journey, a friend of mine who was one of my housemates at the time found out that I programmed, and he, came running into my room. And I remember him like bursting through the door full of energy saying, "No, I hear you program. Like, I'm going to this thing tomorrow called a hackathon. Like, you should come with me." And I'd never heard of a hackathon before. It sounded like something that elite programmers did, get together on a weekend, come up with crazy ideas for websites and apps and robots and bring them to life in 24 hours. Like, not something a complete beginner could ever, do. But my friend was incredibly reassuring, and he said that, it would be a great experience. And so I decided to go with him. And that hackathon was Hack and Why, which was a hackathon that was put on by a nonprofit that worked with NYU and Columbia in New York. And that was in 2011. And I remember I walked into this room, and there were like 100 other, students giving up their weekend to come back to campus to like make all this cool stuff and show it off to a room full of complete strangers. And I'd never encountered anything like that in my life. I probably learned more in 24 hours than I did in my entire education up to that point. I remember it was just this incredibly transformational experience. I think it was one of the first educational experiences where I felt like I belonged. Like, it was fun and like cutting edge and engaging and collaborative and just unlike any classroom experience I think I'd ever encountered. And so, literally the next day, I went home and looked myself in the mirror and said, "What am I doing with my life? Like, forget being a lawyer. I need to be a programmer." And I did the thing that probably a lot of people in the chat did as well. I switched into computer science, and I started going to these classes, and I realized that all of the things I was learning in my computer science classes were not actually the things that I needed to learn to be employable as a programmer. they were things that were really useful when you already had the job, a lot of theory that would help you do great, work and do more advanced things. But it wasn't the type of practical problem solving with code that I needed to learn and that employers, cared about to get somebody in the door. And luckily, I was getting that education at hackathons. And, eventually when I did land my first internship, I was able to, learn a lot there. But it was really these hands-on experiences where I could get into the code and tools that I would use in my career and build something interesting that really was what taught me and got me excited and energized. And I pretty quickly learned I wasn't alone. And so I ultimately went on to start Major League Hacking as a way to help every new technologist bridge that gap between what they learn in a classroom and what they need to know to actually be employable. And, we do that through things like Global Hack Week or through traditional hackathons or workshops, like fellowship programs. But it's all really about becoming that layer where you can apply your experience and build a track record and a network that will ultimately help you go on to start your career journey. And I'm really excited to say that, I definitely wasn't alone. Like today, about a third of all U.S. computer science graduates each year go through one of MLH's programs, which is just an insane statistic to think about. And that's just one country out of 90 where we have a presence at right now. So clearly not a small problem, whether you're coming out of a computer science degree program, a boot camp, or you're self-taught, everybody encounters that applied experience gap. And MLH is really helping the next generation of technologists actually bridge that gap.
I know I'm skipping over a couple of people's questions because I really like this one. We'll make sure we come back to, I know there were some awesome ones around the fellowship and some numbers in there. But Swift, are you comfortable sharing anything about how maybe you've overcome some of that imposter syndrome that I imagine you must have faced along the way?
Oh, yeah. First of all, yes, I felt it. Absolutely. I felt it at the beginning of my journey. I felt it, every step along the way. I still feel it today in a lot of ways. Like it doesn't matter how successful you are in your career. Everybody feels this, and it is just a natural part of, your career journey. And it's something that you're gonna have to learn to navigate. And, for me, I got really lucky at first where I had a network of people who believed in me and supported me and pushed me to, do things like show up for that job interview where I got my first coding gig, or to bring me to my first hackathon and give me the confidence to actually go there and build something. We can talk about my first internship story, and I think we're asking about that. But again, it was somebody who took a chance on helping me. And I think that's one thing I love about communities is that they're really about other people. It's about helping each other by helping ourselves in some ways and building this thing together. And I think that when you have this community, like this support group, these people to fall back on, it can really help you get over that imposter syndrome. I think there's a couple other bits of advice I'll give really briefly. Something that one person, I think it was one of my first bosses, ever told me, which I think is actually just really good reminder for everybody, is that you are the world's leading expert on yourself, guaranteed. Every single one of us has that expertise about who we are and what makes us great and what makes us, struggle. And, nobody can take that away from you. Like that expertise is, it's unparalleled against yourself. And so remembering that you are actually an expert and that you are actually the expert of yourself is gives you some credibility, even if you might find yourself in a situation that maybe you don't have domain expertise over. And then I think the second thing I'll say is that we're all learning. I think I tend to gravitate towards people who have this growth mindset and who are thinking about, improving themselves every day. I've never thought about myself as a static person. I'm completely different than I was yesterday and the day before and the day before, and tomorrow will be different too. And I think that if you always are coming at life with that mentality of I'm always growing, I'm always getting better, I'm always improving, that will help you overcome that imposter syndrome. Because, while you might feel like an imposter today, if you remember that you're on a growth journey and everybody else is too, that can help you, work towards feeling like you have the confidence and the credibility to, be where you are as well.
I love that. I see we've had a couple of folks ask about some, future facing things. And I particularly liked this question. So do you have any predictions or things that you really see as what folks can do with hackathons to solve some real world problems?
It's a great question. And I think honestly, hackathons are always and have always been and always will be on the bleeding edge of what we're doing with technology. By definition, in a lot of ways, right? Hackathons are a place to come and experiment and learn and to build things, with these tools and put them together in a way that, maybe is novel or new or unintuitive. And, when I think back on my first hackathon experiences and the projects that people were building there, it was things like, multiplayer games. Like Node.js had just become a thing, when I went to my first set of hackathons, and the ability to write highly concurrent games that people could like collaborate and use together was like, it was novel. Like the amount of infrastructure you'd have to set up to do that before was just like out of this world. And I think if you look at every step of the journey, right, where it's like, progressing from like the like novelty of JavaScript environments through like VR or voice assistants or crypto or now AI, like hackathons tend to be on that bleeding edge of again, where technology is going. And I think the fun thing is seeing how people apply those technologies to actually solve problems. And I think this comes back to the imposter syndrome question earlier, but like when people are looking for things to make at hackathons, often the best thing to make is something that's a solution to a real problem that you have, right? Like, again, if you're the world's leading expert on yourself, you know your own problems better than anybody else. And the ability to apply new technology to solve those problems often, it's just a huge benefit to you, but it will also be a huge benefit to other people who might be encountering those same problems. And so I think that that's actually like the innovation component here is like having both the understanding of the new technologies as well as real problems that people have to ultimately, create something that is innovative and new and valuable, right? And so I think that hackathons again are like in their best version of themselves, like that place where we bring cutting edge technology and real problems. And unlike a lot of other kind of like pitch competitions or like things where we're not actually building anything, I think the novelty comes in the fact that we're actually solving those problems with code and tools.
I really, really, really like that a lot. We've gotten a lot of questions and people are yelling at me in chat for skipping over the first internship story question. So before I start a riot in chat, do you mind telling us about your first internship?
Yes, I will. This is actually another really great imposter syndrome story. So, okay, so I had where we are in the story is I've gone to my first hackathon already. I've been working, doing PHP at this film company, and I got it in my head that I was like ready for my first internship. And the way that I knew that was that the amount of learning I was getting from my own personal projects and from the projects I was doing at my job were not, I wasn't learning as much as I had been in the time period. Like if you're just graphing the slope of my learning, it was like starting to decelerate. And so I decided I was going to go out and get an internship, and I had no idea how to do that because none of my friends ever had internships, and I was starting from scratch, and there was not a network like MLH that I could count on back then. And so I literally went out and bought a suit at Macy's and a discount and went to a job fair and like I printed out my resume and like I literally walked around this job fair in the suit, like, giving out my resume to people. And as I looked around, I realized that I was very out of place because I was probably the most overdressed person at the job fair. And I was also probably the youngest and most underqualified person at the job fair as well in a lot of ways. And so I was feeling pretty down on myself. And because I was feeling down on myself and I like got discouraged a bit, I started like just looking for people who were like hanging out, not at booths just to talk to. And I met two different people. One of the guys was actually a recruiter at a dev agency that's like really large and based in New York City. And another one was a CTO of a small startup. And we were just like chatting. And both of them, I didn't go up to their booth and hand them my resume. I didn't like go be like, hey, do you have a job open? It was just kind of organic conversations with both of them. And then they asked why I was there. And I said I was looking for an internship. And both of them happened to be, hiring and invited me to come and interview. And so there was, that was exciting. But the problem was that both of them were Ruby shops, and they were, I'd never written Ruby before in my life. And it was like something I was going to have to learn. And the interviews were literally like a week away. So I did the same thing I did with that PHP, experience. I went and bought a book and read a bunch of, information about Ruby and Rails. And I still felt really unprepared and knew it wasn't going to be the same kind of easy experience I had in my first, job I landed. And I went to the first interview, which was at the dev consulting agency. And their interview was a 3-hour pair programming exercise where they paired me up with one of their engineers to solve a real problem that one of their customer had using Rails. And so we literally bounced back and forth and paired on it. And I did okay. Like I wasn't, it was the first time I'd written Ruby. Like it was the first time I had, collaborated in that way. But, it went okay. And the next interview was like a couple hours later up the street. And I, went over to that small startup where I met the CTO. And it just so happened that their interview was also a 3-hour pair programming and solving a real problem with Rails experience. And so I was now an expert at it because I had literally just spent 3 hours pairing with an actually great engineer on solving a problem in Rails. So needless to say, I aced that interview and they thought I was like a Rails genius because I had, so much expertise on how to pair program, how to do the like test-driven development cycle, like those things. But in retrospect, it was just like a coincidence that happened to work out in that way. Ultimately, I did go into work at the small startup, and actually the CTO who was there actually works at MLH now part-time, helping us out with some engineering, which is a pretty cool full circle story. But the lesson here was two things, right? Like number one, when I went out looking, utilizing networking and like just talking to people about what I was looking for and what their problems that they were challenged with was the way that I ultimately found these opportunities. Like my resume just got lost in the crowd otherwise, but it was a way to stand out and have like a relationship with somebody. And the second thing was, again, I had no experience with Ruby or Rails or any of those things, and I was willing to learn it. And by spending some time actually building something, like getting my hands into the code and like actually making something, I was able to really accelerate my learning and ultimately was able to pass the interview by doing that. So I think those are two really great takeaways and something that everybody here can learn from as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of going with the theme of your career journey here, I'm curious, do you remember the moment when you finally got to the point where you were putting the idea of MLH out there into the world? It wasn't just something inside of your head?
It started as a side project. I was actually working on a different company idea that was actually like an open source analytics platform, which was a great idea, but I executed on it terribly. And I started MLH while I was doing that as just like a side project, as a way to stay involved in this community that had changed my life. So I think because it was so low stakes, because it was something that I was just going to work on out of passion, it was really easy to talk to people about it from the very beginning. So it was never something where I was like waiting and in the wings to like share it with people. It was just something that I like told a bunch of friends that I was going to do and then just started doing. And then it became, took on a life of its own. It became something I could work full time on. But like, it really did just start out as like a passion project that I was working on that was something interesting. And in fact, my last startup before this one, which was a platform to help people organize hackathons like software, which I ended up selling to Intel right before I started MLH. That one was also just a side project, passion project that I had been working on at a hackathon, and had the so I just had this confidence to tell people about it from the beginning because it was just something that I was doing for fun. And both of those became opportunities where I could again work on them in a more meaningful way and really do something with them. So I think my advice here is either make sure your ideas are low enough stakes that it's like something you're just going to do and talk about, or if you're worried about having the confidence to bring it to the public, like I would start with a trusted group of friends in your network and ultimately build up from there.
Nice. And I know we have time for a couple more questions. I don't know that I've ever asked you this question during a Q&A before. I really like it. Is there any time you can think of where feedback from the community or a participant changed some of the things that we were doing here at MLH?
Actually, all the time. Like this is one of those things that literally we constantly do. And in fact, I think even Global Hack Week is like a really good example about how it's changed over the years, right? Like if you look at where we started and where we are today, it's just like a radically different event based primarily on community feedback. I think a good example of this might be I'll tell the story about Local Hack Day. I think that's actually a really interesting one. It's something that maybe not everybody has heard. So back in like 2014, MLH started organizing this event called Local Hack Day, which we currently don't do anymore. Maybe we'll bring it back at some point. I think it's a really interesting event. But the idea was basically that we got a ton of passionate student leaders around the world to organize 12-hour hackathons for their communities simultaneously. So rather than having to go through all the work of like planning a overnight 24, 36-hour event, raise all this sponsorship, figure all this stuff out, it's a lot easier to like book a classroom or like go to a Starbucks with your friends and like spend a half day, just coding and like making cool stuff and showing it off to each other in a much lower stakes environment. And we got really successful doing it. Like it built up. The first year we did it, I think we got like 100 schools. And then by the time we stopped doing it, we had like 300 or 400 schools doing it at the same time. So it like got pretty successful. But before we started that event, I remember I was really opposed to the idea of like doing things like that because, in my mind, like the 24, 36-hour hackathon was the thing that like really, exposed people to how life-changing these experiences were. Like I was thinking about my own experience showing up at a hackathon and staying there overnight and like meeting all these new people and the uncertainty. And like, to me, that stuff was all really positive. But the thing that changed my mind was that I was talking with somebody about, that particular thing. They were like advocating for these 12-hour shorter hackathons. And I told them my story and they said, it's really great that you had the confidence to do that. But like, not everybody has that confidence, myself included. I'm not going to take a bus several hours to a random school I've never been in. I'm not going to like feel confident like sleeping overnight in a place that I don't know where what the venue is or what the accommodations will be. I'm a beginner. I don't know that I'll ever be able to make a project. I don't know that I'm going to have, the confidence to ask a mentor to help me debug my code during a hackathon. And it was all these things where it was just like a light bulb and be like, duh, of course, like I got lucky having those friends there, having the confidence that got me there. But it was risky and it was scary, right? Like that's the truth. And this community member like telling me that really like made me rethink what the entry points for our community should be and like got me to the point where I said, yeah, we should do these like 12-hour events, on campus, low stakes with your community you already know and help get people on board and engaged. And actually, if you look at the result, like some of our most successful 24, 36-hour hackathons came out of local hack days back in like 2014, 2015. So I think that's a great example, but it's like, feedback from a community member helped me completely rethink the context of what I believed about the community and about MLH. And I think that's one of many stories where we've done things like that. But I actually think that's one of the best parts about MLH is that the community is helping really to build, MLH with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've seen that so much in my time here. We got quite a few questions around the fellowship prep program. Some folks asked for advice earlier about it. What can you share with us about what is going on in fellowship land right now and any advice that you have for folks who are applying?
Yeah, so for those who might not know, MLH runs this program called the MLH Fellowship, which is basically a virtual co-located internship program for hackers. So rather than interning for a single company, we actually work with a lot of companies and create virtual experiences where hackers can work on projects, typically open source or something greenfield that they're like coming up with under the mentorship of professional engineers and with the support of their peers, and ultimately make contributions open source, learn about a new skill set they never could learn in a classroom, things like that. And it's a really incredible program. Like it's one of those things where if I would have had that opportunity to do it when I was a student, I would have jumped at the chance. It's just such an incredible learning environment. I think the biggest challenge with it is that, often we'll get like 30,000 applications for 300 spots. And that's an incredibly competitive program just based on those numbers. And then when you like take a step back and you're like, wow, the types of organizations that get that kind of demand are usually a lot bigger than MLH. Like you think about a university that's getting 30,000 applications, like, they'll have hundreds of team members doing that. MLH is a small startup for as much of a reach as we've had. That, the truth is that, we've had we're a very small team. We get a lot done with that. And then you pair that up also with the whole point of the program is to give opportunities to beginners who might not otherwise have internship experiences to be able to do that yet. And you just have like a really tough challenge. Now, that a whole other piece of context really important here is that, right now it's really tough market for being a junior engineer. That's the truth, right? Like based on where the tech industry has been for the last 12 months with lots of budget cuts, lots of layoffs, like ultimately the hiring demand is just not there for lots of junior talent and interns, right? Like it's just not employers are not struggling in the same way where they were when we started the fellowship, back at the beginning of COVID, like things like that. And so you basically have like lower employment demand, massive demand from hackers, and it just creates, and it exacerbates these existing problems. So, I would love to figure out how to scale the fellowship to be able to support tons and tons of hackers. I think the problem is like we either need to find employers that are willing to fund that or radically change what the program needs to be. And I think that the idea of something that is, accessible to all 30,000 of those people, it seems appealing on the surface, but I think a lot of the benefit of the fellowship is the smaller community with much more hands-on, experience. And so I think it's just like, it's a tough environment. So I think so that's the context about why it's such a competitive program and why we have not been able to grow it the way that we would like to. And the prep program was originally designed as a way for us to help real beginners that we saw potential in get the experience to be able to leverage it into getting into the full fellowship program. But it wasn't being funded by employers. I was just being funded out of the goodness of MLH's heart. And again, I think that if there's lots of employer demand, we're struggling to get people in the program, that makes a lot of sense, something to do. But, I think just given where the market is, it's not something that we could, really afford to do for the community. So that's the context there. I think advice, my honest advice is that, the fellowship is a great opportunity. You should apply for it. There are certainly, every time somebody gets in, they're surprised they get in. And I think that's the truth. It's one of those things where the program is designed to find people's potential and to help them get in. Just because you didn't get in doesn't mean you don't have potential. It's just, ultimately, again, it's kind of a numbers game on some level. But I encourage you to apply. I would say if you get rejected or you get waitlisted or any of those things, don't be discouraged by it. It's not necessarily a judgment on you. We do our best to provide structured feedback to every person who applies so that you can at least learn something from the interview experience and level up. But, just keep at it and keep going. And again, my hope is that as the tech industry rebounds and starts, to change the mindset from this turtling to growth again, I'm hoping the fellowship will grow right alongside that, and that we'll be able to radically increase the number of spots that we have to support hackers through that program.
I'm having a little trouble finding the question I wanted to ask you next, so I'm going to paraphrase it. It was one that came in at the beginning, but I thought it would be best saved for later. Someone asked for advice on how to grow their own local community. We have grown such a large community around MLH, and I'd really be curious to hear some of your advice for someone who wants to find folks in their area to hack with. Where should they get started?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and make some assumptions. You're probably a student. You're probably, interested in coding and, you're taking a computer science class or a computing class of some kind. You probably have some kind of campus that you're going to. If you're fully virtual, this stuff might not apply, but I think that's a pretty fair set of base assumptions here. So the places I would start would be the classes I was already taking, right? Coming up with an idea for an event Cookies and Code, or inviting a speaker to come and talk about careers in software engineering, or organizing a hack day, would be a great way to start and get people together. These are low stakes, short events that ultimately are accessible to anybody who wants to participate. You don't need money or a complicated venue system to be able to support them. Some of my first tech events that I ever organized when I was a student at Rutgers were literally just we would get a classroom that wasn't being used and have somebody who was an alumni come and talk about how they got their first internship, or about they would demo their hackathon projects, really simple stuff. And I was able to find through the attendees who would come to these events that I would help organize, I was able to find people who were excited about building a community in the same way I was, and creating those physical gathering spaces, finding like-minded people who are excited about building something and about the future. Those are the building blocks of any really successful developer community that I know. And so I would recommend starting with that approach. So start with your classes or wherever you are as an initial group of people to reach out to. Think about a lightweight event or something you can plan that would bring them together, and then use those attendees as a way to identify other leaders and ultimately create some momentum to actually build the community and keep getting together and gathering regularly.
Awesome. I've got one more for you here. Oh, Ryan's
If
going to
you've got
join
one
for
more,
this
that's
very
great.
last one.
No. I'll pop back up. I'll be back for the announcements. I just hope I remove it that way.
We'll do the announcement. I quite like this this question that just came in. Then we can move over to announcements. We have so many folks come out of our community who go on to be founders like yourself. I'm curious, what do you have to share about what is like a day in a life as a founder?
It is incredibly dynamic. Every day is different, and I think that if you are the type of person who likes new novel challenges every day, it is a great opportunity and something that you would probably really love. I think if you are a person who likes consistency and pattern, it's probably a lot harder to enjoy life as a founder. But I think the challenges that I'm dealing with every day could be anything from like talking with the team about the struggles of an individual event or organizer, helping our engineering team plan their sprint, working with our sales team to figure out what we're actually, how we're going to build a business to support the growth of the community, bring in new fellowship customers or employers. It could be, telling the story of MLH, like going to events like this and helping people understand the vision of what the company is doing and why we exist and where we're going. But there's never a boring day. And I always say that my job completely changes every 6 months. And I think that's been true for the last 11 years now. So if you like dynamic environments that change every day, being a startup founder is a great career path for you. If you like consistency and security and like knowing, having confidence about what's going on and what your day looks like every day, I would not recommend this job. But it is a lot of fun for those of us who enjoy the dynamicism.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking all of those questions, Swift. We can bring Ryan back. Chat is yelling at me to bring him back.
Bring back Ryan.
Here. Bring back Ryan. I know that you have some other things that you wanted to share with the community.
Yes.
Maybe an announcement or two over here.
I do.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about, what is the season mascot and what are we about to announce here?
Yeah. So for those who might not know, every year MLH picks a new mascot who appears on all of the swag, stickers, t-shirts, and things that we produce and give out at hackathons. And each year we pick a different mascot and a different technology theme and pair them up. So, last year's mascot was Hanson, the hardware hippo. You can see him in the bottom right. Before that was Gene, the glitchy giraffe. Before that was Frankie, the file system ferret. And all of these have, an animal that starts with the letter of the alphabet. So E, F, G, H. And then they also have a technology that starts with that same letter. And so you can take a guess, but our upcoming mascot starts with I. So it's an animal that begins with the letter I, and it's a technology theme that starts with I. I'd love to see some guesses in the chat. I mean, we have a little preview, Pokemon style preview here for everybody. I see iguana. Let's see, it was the internet iguana. Yeah, that's a
Lots
good
of
guess.
iguana guesses. We've
Lots
been
of
seeing those
iguana.
all day.
The elephant. Oh wow, the chat is coming in so fast now. Ibex is a good one. We did look at Ibex. They see a cat. Yep. A monkey. Yes. Does not look like an iguana. That's correct. I think we got one there.
I think
All
we
right,
have
so
some accurate guesses.
You ready for the reveal?
Yep.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
here we go.
I want to introduce you to your 2025 Hackathon season mascot. This is Izzy, the internet inchworm. We're very excited about Izzy. She's got a nice retro theme and is going to be appearing on stickers and shirts and all kinds of really cool swag. And I personally cannot wait to get my hands on some Izzy swag. I don't know when the first time we're giving it away is. Maybe Brian and Mary can tell us a little bit about that. But
literally right now, you're giving it away at this event. Yes.
Cool. Am I eligible to get some or no?
Yeah, we'd make you eligible. You just have to.
Yeah,
what are the set?
to check in.
Yeah, we have to get the chat. Tell Swift what he needs to do to earn swag at Global Hack Week, and we'll send him some. I really want a Izzy hat, like a pink cap with the yellow brim. I think would be. I'm here for that. I feel like it would
very
be nice.
meta. I would quite like that.
I would like that as well. I really like that the globe. Like it reminds me of like Internet Explorer back in the day.
Definitely.
Yeah. This is a good one. I think this is one of my favorite mascots we've done in a long time.
Oversized tee for the gym is a great idea too.
Swift, we have another thing we like to do at these opening ceremonies where we pick a commenter to send some extra swag to. Do you want to do the honors and pick a comment that will send a swag pack to?
Should I pick somebody from the guessing of the mascot, or should I go back to the questions from chat?
You can do
You're
either
in charge.
or. You're in charge.
Whatever you like.
Sometimes we close our eyes and scroll and pick one. The sky's the limit with how you pick.
So I'm going to give it to the person who guessed the mascot. I feel like 404 Not Found 19, who guessed Internet Inchworm, is going to be the person that I would pick personally. So let's give it to them.
Perfect. There you go. 404, you know how to redeem that. We will get you a swag pack in the mail.
I also, we've got I consulted the books here. We've got the budget for it. 404 is such a regular member of chat. Swift, can you pick one other person for me as well?
In addition to 404. We're still getting 404 that swag.
I don't want anyone telling me it's rigged or anything like that. I'm seeing the comments already here. 404 is like a iconic Global Hack Week community member.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna pick.
Hello, Sir Me is a great comment. I really like this comment. That's great.
Let's see here. Let's give it to.
Can you click on their comment for me?
Yeah, I actually don't know if I can share it on the screen or not.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't think Swift's able to. Yeah,
I'm set as a guest. I apologize. I'm going to give it to the person who asked. Can you share a time when a participant feedback led to a significant change or improvement in MLH events? I think that was actually a really great question. It's from Isra Abdulgafour.
Can you give me the timestamp for that as well?
12:44.
12:44. I'll scroll back for it, Mary. So
I'm almost to it.
Okay,
I've
great.
got
it.
There we go. We found it. That was a great question, and I'd really appreciate the thoughtfulness of that.
Yes, I will just move this up for a second because it's cutting off Swift's camera there.
All good.
Fast on that screenshot. If not, open up a support ticket. We'll help you out either way. We have one other announcement as well, correct?
We do.
We do. We are really excited to see y'all at events this season. What can people do as of a few moments ago to get ready for this season, Swift?
Well, they could go to mlh.io/events and they can see the official 2025 hackathon season calendar. It's already got a ton of events up there. I actually didn't even count them. There were a bunch. Shall we count them out? See how many we've got here?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's see. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Oh my God. 40, 44 events already live on the hackathon season schedule. Our team has been hard at work. We even have stuff already in April of next year on the calendar, which is pretty incredible. So big shout out to the MLH team who got all of these early events up on the calendar, and big shout out to all these organizers who already started planning events for literally next April right now. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to give some information to everybody about those events, they should all have at least an interest form so you can actually sign up to get updates as those events come closer. And they should have websites with dates and things like that. So if you're trying to plan out your calendar, you can go ahead and check out everything there. And like Swift said, lots of people on the team put a lot of effort into this, but I want to make sure we give a huge shout out to Maria and Siddharth specifically, our two hackathon community managers who put a ton of work into getting all these events ready for you all. These are some of our best events of the season, and really excited to have them as part of our season launch.
Absolutely. I am very, very excited. And shout out to all the planners who can get ready for all of their weekends now until April of 2025, which is wild. With that, I know we are going to transition into some regular Q&A about Global Hack Week. Swift, any last words you want to say to the community before we let you go here?
I just want to say thank you, first of all, to the community, everybody who put in those questions. I know we got a lot more questions than I had time to answer, and I really do appreciate everybody, putting together such thoughtful, prompts for us to talk about today. I'm really excited to hear about Global Hack Week. It seems like this is going to be a really fun week for everybody, and I can't wait to see all of you at Hackathon season at the event. So thanks, everybody, and happy hacking.
Thanks so much for joining us,
Swift.
Swift.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
All right. If you have
Alrighty,
any
folks.
logistics questions that you missed, or we missed rather, feel free to put those in chat for me and Mary. If you want to know how to register, or what events there are, things like that, we'll hang out for a few minutes and answer questions. And then just for folks who are maybe wondering, our next event is going to take place in about 45 minutes. And that is going to be our DFANG workshop. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Had to remind myself there. Great question to start us off here. In fact, so good that Cold Coder, congratulations, you've earned yourself a surprise prize. I really love SpongeBob, fun fact. And SpongeBob lives in a pineapple under the sea. Submit a ticket on Discord. We will get you a little surprise prize for bringing some fun and joy to Global Hack Week. I love that.
Absolutely love that.
Will streams be available in VOD form? Yes, all of our streams are recorded. You can watch them on Twitch for about 30 days, I think is normally when they get cut off. And then you can watch them on YouTube in perpetuity until YouTube goes away in 2200 or something like that, whenever it dies out.
I really like this suggestion. An Izzy Slinky would be such a cool swag item. A nice
That would
little
be a cool
fidget
swag
toy for while you're hacking would be very, very cool.
So for raising a ticket in Discord, make sure you go to discord.mlh.io and join our server. And then there's going to be a tickets section called support tickets, a channel rather called support tickets. There's going to be a little reaction button on there. You can use that to raise a ticket.
Sorry, I'm just taking all the fun ones. But Shen Marie, you should post a picture of your cat Izzy. We also have an MLHer on the team who has a cat named Izzy. So your cats and Izzy the inchworm can all be friends.
Also, I did start this Q&A by answering a question about SpongeBob, so I don't know that you could say.
Okay, you're right. Like this one, what is the schedule like, and is it okay for a beginner? Absolutely. We've got a bunch of different events up. I think the ones that I would particularly call out for beginners that are happening today are the 2 workshops happening right after this. So the DFANG workshop as well as the GitHub Copilot workshop. And then make sure you tune into the Intro to Python workshop as well. I think those would be my top 3 recommendations of the day 1 schedule. That being said, all of our workshops have some element of being beginner friendly. So even if you feel like one is going to be a little bit over where you're at, you can always just sit in and listen. Don't worry so much about following along with everything. You're still going to soak up a lot of information at any of them.
That's awesome. Can the challenges or projects be done in a group or with a partner? Yes, they can. Mary and I typically recommend no more than a couple of people per group. We don't typically have any issues with cheating or things like that at Global Hack Week. But if we see that you and your friends, 15 of you have all submitted the same project, we will take away your points. So just keep it reasonable and make sure that everyone contributes to the project and you'll be totally fine. But yes, you're more than welcome to work with people. It's a great way to learn. So.
Absolutely. Someone asked if it's essential to attend the workshops live. It is not. You can catch the recordings afterwards. For that bonus swag, you'll need to have checked into 5. If you cannot check into any 5 live, open up a ticket and I will make sure I just check those off for you myself. So do not worry, watch them on your own time.
So question here, I'm not able to send any text in the MLH announcement server in Discord and I cannot follow the server either. These are 2 kind of confusing things with Discord. So not being able to send text in the announcements channel is expected. Only MLHers can post announcements there. And when you see that follow button, what that actually means is add that channel to another server that you own. So if you have like a personal Discord, maybe you and your friends have like a little hacking group together, you can actually add the MLH announcements channel to your server. Lots of people get confused by this, but don't worry, you still will get notifications from it. That follow button is kind of a misnomer.
Mm-hmm. I really like this question. How do I make the most out of this? My biggest tip for making the most would be tuning into the live sessions. I think that they are the best way to learn something new, and they're a really great time to get to know the community. So that'd be my top one. Ryan, any other things that you recommend for making the most of the week?
I always just talk about going to the live streams personally. Like I love a code along with me session, and so like I find them to be really like insightful. I love to learn how other people approach problems, and so the live streams are always the big selling point for me. But hang out with people too, get to meet the community, great opportunity to do lots of different things. So.
Absolutely. And someone asked where to see the workshops. You can watch them live either on Twitch or on our YouTube. Twitch is at ML Hacks, YouTube is at Major League Hacking, and then the recordings, like Ryan said, you can watch on either of those.
Clicked on the wrong one there. I missed the Hardware Hippo last year. Were there hardware events that I missed? We actually still have hardware events just because last year was hardware themed for our mascot. Don't worry. At many of our member events in North America and Canada, you can actually get access to our DigiKey hardware lab or our MSI hardware lab. You can read more about both of those on hacked.emily.io, if I remember correctly. But if you're looking to get some Hardware Hippo swag, you actually will still have a chance this week. We usually include some leftover swag from the prior year in our Global Hack Week season launch envelopes, so you're in luck there.
Yeah. Someone said that they want to get more involved and are asking if there are any volunteer opportunities. So we don't have a formal kind of volunteer opportunity here. I think the biggest way you can help out online with MLH is helping answer questions in the technical questions chat. We have folks all the time posting in there looking for help building their projects out. So you can always go and do that from anywhere in the world. Outside of that, I highly recommend if you have any hackathons happening near you, tons of them need volunteers all the time. So reach out to them and see if they could use some extra hands. They likely can. And going and volunteering at hackathons is a ton of fun. You'll get to meet some awesome people and have a nice time.
What do we get in the surprise prize? Unfortunately, I can't actually answer this because it changes every Global Hack Week. It's a mix of leftover and retro swag items we have at our fulfillment center. I know there's some like fanny packs that have been going out in them recently. We've been including some old t-shirts, things like that. It'll also vary on what region you're in, depending on what we have at our fulfillment center there. But it's some old retro swag just as a little thank you for you.
I like this. It wouldn't be a surprise if you knew.
So true. Adam, get Adam on stage. That's a great answer. I should have had that ready to go.
I apologize. I hid your comment.
No, you're good. So I had another one in here, which I'll try and find again. Oh, it's the next one down, I see. But where can I find the events and workshops and participate? Because it's quite confusing to find. While Mary answers the next question, I'll actually set up a little screen share and I can walk you through finding some stuff on our website. That sounds good.
Awesome. Somebody asked if the challenges will update. They will not throughout the week. So all of the challenges available are all of the challenges that you will see throughout the week. Actually, I misspoke as I said that. I will add one Izzy challenge that I couldn't add before we started the week. But outside of that, no, the challenges will not update. And then I love this comment. Code alongs are great for me. I find that I learn best in these environments because I'm physically doing it. I am the exact same way. Like, that is the way that I'm able to learn something, actually sitting down and doing it. So I really recommend for all of the technical workshops, like get your environment ready, be ready to follow along. And the thing that's really nice about those is since they are recorded, like you can always go back, watch something again, pause it, slow it down if you get to the end of the live stream and there's a couple things you want a little bit of extra context on or want to see again.
I'm going to go ahead and screen share real quick, and we'll come back to questions in chat in a second. So if you go to our main website, which is just globalhackweek.com or ghw.mlh.io, you can see all of our upcoming events here. There's a bunch of nav up at the top of the screen. You can also click into season launch here. So you can find our registration page if you have not yet registered for the event. If you come back up to the website itself, you can actually find our challenges, Discord, all sorts of good stuff like that. Like here are all of the different challenges throughout the week that Mary was just talking about. And we also have our schedule where I know someone was looking for how to access different workshops and things like that. Like as an example, let's find that Python workshop I know lots of people talked about. I can click right here and I can see this is the Intro to Python workshop and I can actually log in and register for that right here as well. In addition to that, just because lots of people ask about it, you can also find our swag information here. You can find an FAQ of some common questions, and you can also join the Discord right from this page as well. So most of the links you need should be right here and right for you.
Awesome.
What else do we have here?
I'm going to answer like 3 rapid fire questions. Someone asked if this is about web development or other technologies. This Global Hack Week is really open-ended. The main things we were thinking about as we were building the schedule for this week was thinking of topics that would help you as you go out to hackathons this season. So it's largely stuff that is beginner-friendly and pretty open-ended and meant to give you just kind of a level up of some of that base knowledge. So no specific theme at this Global Hack Week. Someone asked, what do we get to know after completing the challenges? So the challenges are just for you to use as some inspiration around what you want to build. So each one of them is a little bit different, and you are always welcome to tailor them to fit more to what you are interested in learning this week. So just think of them as guidelines and project inspiration rather than like a homework assignment or something you need to follow to the T. And then last one here, can you tell me more about the mini events? Absolutely. These take place over in the Discord server, and they are just meant to give you a break from hacking. Most of the time we play like a little online game over there. Sometimes it's a little bit more casual and just a hangout session, but it's a chance for you to meet some other people and just take a little bit of a brain break from programming and doing some of these other things that you are using a lot of mental energy at the rest of the week.
Do you mind filling for another minute or so, and then I'm going to do a quick Discord demo? I just need to set up my
test account. I can absolutely do that. Somebody asked how to find team members. I think the easiest way is posting over in the Hack Together channel that you're looking for folks to hack with. So go ahead and run over there, tell folks that you want to hack with them. Keep in mind, you do not have to have teammates, though. You can do everything solo if you would like. Here's another good one. How do we get points? So the points are a combination of the live streams that you've attended and the challenges you've completed. So those 2 things are what give you points. As a reminder, the points are just for bragging rights. You can't redeem them for anything. There's no public leaderboard. It's just for you to use with your friends or as a way to kind of compete with yourself. I know a lot of the folks who go to a lot of Global Hack Weeks like to see like how many points they got at this one versus last month's and things like that, which is quite a lot of fun. And I am so proud of this. 440 Found just publicly admitted that I am answering questions faster than them today, which feels like a huge, huge flex. I'm going at light speed over here to be able to come in faster there.
That is quite the achievement there.
It is, I know. Thank you. I'm trying to see what other questions we have. Someone asked what kind of project to submit for the MLH fellowship application. I always give this disclaimer, Ryan and I do not work directly on the fellowship. So the best people to ask this would be in the fellowship questions. But the advice I'd give is like the project you should submit is one that you are proud of and one that you feel really confident talking about. So I would say like the project that you know the best that you've built is probably going to be the best thing over there.
All right, I am ready for my demo here, so I'm going to
take it away.
So I've got Discord opened up here. This is on a test account, so hopefully this works as intended, but I'm just going to hit join the Major League Hacking community here. We'll make sure that this joins the server. Awesome. It's going to take a second. So right when you join, it's going to ask you some different questions. These normally aren't pre-filled out. I'm using that test account like I mentioned, but I might select that I'm a hacker here. I'm going to hit next. I'm in North America. Awesome. Great. The rules, I'm going to make sure that I read through these and agree to them. I've already read them before, but if it's your first time, make sure you take some time to go through those. Great. I'm going to hit finish. And I now have access to lots of different channels in here just to show some of the ones that I know people have asked about. We've got our support tickets channel down here. You can click on these different buttons after I do this. Oh, I need to verify my phone number, which is going to be tough to do because my phone number is in use for my other account. The other thing I do want to show, though, aside from this support tickets channel, is just this channels and roles feature up here. You can click on browse channels, and this will help you find some other channels that you might not have access to. If you're missing anything for Global Hack Week, you can come in here and do that. and you should be good to go from there. If anyone has questions and they're not able to get access to Discord for some reason, feel free to email globalhackweek@mlh.io or globalhackweek@majorleaguehacking.com, and we should be able to help you out from there.
Yes, I know we have slowed down a bit with the logistical questions, so we'll take a moment for a fun question. What headphones are you wearing?
These are the Bose 700s. I'm not a paid advertiser for Bose, but let me tell you, if they're interested in sponsoring me directly, I've probably sold 15 pairs of these headphones to people,
including this pair that you sold to me.
Yes.
And by
I do love these
I mean
headphones.
recommended that I purchased.
Recommended, yes.
It makes it sound like you're selling used headphones to everyone.
Actually, you have a box of used headphones, so I just sell out of.
He only uses them for about a month, and then he sells them off to his friends.
This is going to be our last question. We're going to head out after this, but just because I think it's funny that we got on this topic, my real favorite flex about the Bose headphones is that I like them so much. I have 2 different pairs. I keep one at home, and then I have one office pair normally, but I have both with me today. Big fan.
We love to see
big
that.
Fan. All right,
I can't believe we've been live for an hour and a half, but it is time.
I will answer one more question because I'm having fun now. I have been standing all along, yes. But what games do you play? This is the one I was excited about. Open up a Discord thread or something, and I'll talk about it somewhere. But lots of Dota 2 originally. I haven't been playing a lot of Dota in the last couple of years, but I love a good roguelike, love a puzzle game, lots of different variety there. But it's been awesome hanging out with y'all. We are going to end the stream with that off-topic question. As we say at the end of every Global Hack Week stream, it's been a blast. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, email in or open up a ticket in Discord. We're super excited to see what all you accomplished this week. Anything from you, Mare?
Nah, just happy hacking, everybody. I will see you over in Discord. Bye, everyone.
See you, everyone.